This week in the Daddy Jeep Garage, we're setting up gears.
Alright guys, so what I've done so far is I've made a setup bearing, took a die grinder with a carbide burr and hogged that out. So now when I put it on here, it fits kind of snug. This is the factory pinion. Right here is a little shim I need. Double check that fits nice and snug. That's good. Okay. So you can see that these two necks from here to here and here to here are a bit different. This is designed to eliminate the crush sleeve. Okay, so if I take this crush sleeve and I put it on here, the two are just about the right height. The purpose of this is so that I only have to use shims to match up this pinion to this pinion when I go set these up. So my goal is to get these two even, just to get a starting point. So whatever shim is here, I will transfer over to here. But right now I'm going to get a measurement probably from this cage face up to the top of this crush sleeve, and then I will replicate it on the new pinion. So my ring and pinion, my pinion's all set, ready to go. I have the bearing races in the freezer right now. Help me get those into the axle. These are on here pretty tight, ready to go. I have it shimmed to match what the factory was with a crush washer. So this is just sitting and waiting for now until I put the races into the axle. But I wanted to show you this, okay? Kind of an expensive item, but what you get is a bearing puller that doesn't damage your bearings, and it makes your life pretty easy to take them off. It's not a cheap date. Yukon makes one. It's like $500. This is a no-name version. We'll put a link in the Amazon, an Amazon affiliate link in the description below. But I think this was like $250. So half the price. I already used it once on the pinion, and I'm in love. I don't know how I would have gotten it off otherwise. Would have been a pain in the butt. So I'm going to show you how it works. This is a little slug to go in so that you can press against it. This shaft is what presses against here. These rings, gently, gotta get this on here first. Set that on. Bring that down till that touches. Eventually, there it is. Just felt it bottom out. Alright, this surface flat against the bearing. Bearing race. Make sure your race is on here. You're actually using the race to push against the cage, and it keeps the cage tight so you don't damage it. And then this guy, slide this down. This guy will surround it like that. Should go on right underneath the bearing, nice and tight, just like that. And you got a little retaining ring. Slips over, just like that. Just hand tight is fine. And now you're in. Okay. grab yourself an impact and hold on. Just don't want to run out of thread. We're almost there. I think I messed up though, and I need to flip that spacer shaft around. It's not quite off yet, but yeah, that's where I messed up. I wasted all this extra shaft. Flip that over. Now I got a lot more room. Yeah. So, just ran out of throw. We're going to restart, pull this back. There we go. Now it's resting down on the race. Put those back on. Slide this guy back up. Tighten him in. Alright, now we should be able to finish it off. That's all it took. Just a little bit more. And your bearing is removed. Pull that up, pull that out, slide that away. And right there, got an unscathed bearing. No mark on it or anything. So this helps with, you know, saving your bearings if they're not bad, you know, or if you want to do a setup bearings. I'm going to be doing setup bearings. I like keeping my shims behind the bearing, so if this ever has to come out, I don't have to worry about the shims falling out. So get this whole thing set up with a slip-on bearing. Once it's all set and I'm happy with it, I'll press on a brand new bearing with the shims behind it, and it'll be done. Oh, for those who don't know, this is a Eaton Detroit auto locker. I picked this up secondhand. It's got like one trip on it. The guy just didn't want it. He wanted a selectable, so I got a screaming deal on this, and we're going to be using it. Okay, got my bearing race out of the freezer. I've already put some light oil inside of here. Just gonna place this in. Not bad. Okay, and you can either use a brass drift or your old bearing race. I'm gonna get it started with the drift and then finish it off with the race. Double check with the punch. And that's done. Alright, same thing for the inside. Okay guys, so I kind of skipped right over this, but I installed the pinion. Okay, both races, new races are in with my setup bearings. The ones that I hogged out. Put the yoke on, torque this nut to 250 foot-pounds. Your preload on your pinion needs to be somewhere between 17 and 30 inch-pounds. It's best to check with one of these, a beam type torque wrench. The only problem is mine is in foot-pounds. It needs to be in inch-pounds. So got a little creative, and I have a inch-pound torque wrench, and when I set it to the lowest setting at 20 and put it on here, and it's always locked. Okay, I can try and stop this in my hand, and it's always locked. Okay, so I know it's over 20 inch-pounds. I'm gonna break this and crank it up to 30, the max. We'll just go right to the max. And that's not breaking. You can see that. Yep. So I can come around, stop it, and it's still, yeah. So it's somewhere between 20 and 30. Let's just for fun go to 25 inch-pounds. It's very close to 25, I would say. So that's right in the middle of the spec, more towards the higher end. I like that. That means it'll wear in properly. I'm content with that. We're going to move on to the ring and carrier. Before installing this ring gear, I want to make sure that it's nice and flat. There's no burrs. Right off the bat, I don't feel anything. But I'm going to take this file and run it across here nice and lightly and get all this black off, just to make sure. We should see something nice and even all the way around. If not, then we have a high spot or a low spot, and we gotta get that addressed so that ring gear doesn't walk left and right as it's coming around.
All right, so we're torquing the ring gear bolts as Nate from Dirt Lifestyle showed on his channel. We went ahead and put some pressure on it in the hydraulic press just to keep everything lined up. That way nothing moves. So I'm chasing TJ around and I'm marking whatever he's torqued, which was this guy.
And this guy.
So put a mark on that. So that's torqued. So it's two-stage torque. First torque was at 80 foot-pounds. Now we're at what, 110? 110. Yeah, I put my press on wheels, which is great until you do something like this. Was it this one right here?
Yes.
Okay, this one here.
This one?
Oh, not this one?
No, this one.
Well, at least I can erase this. There.
Check the first torque line and you'll know.
Yes, because it would be turned, wouldn't it?
Just a little bit. Got the dial indicator set up. It's set to 0. This is 60 thousandths on, I guess, the passenger side, and 40 thousandths on the driver's side. Looking at about 10. About 10. So the spec is 6 to 10. Maybe I'll add one more shim. That was pretty tough to get in, so I'm probably going to keep the total. Well, we have 60 here and 40 here, so that's 100 thou. I'm going to try and maintain that 100 thou and get it moved over another, oh geez, I don't know, 4 thousandths. And hopefully that brings us down to around 8 thousandths for Backlash. Alright, got the carrier back out, and now we're shooting for 35 and 65. Based on my notes, that should get me about an 8 for Backlash. So let's pull that off. Do a 5. That's a 5. That's a 30. So these two together. Just double check. $35. Set that right in there. Drop our bearing back on. And the race. Okay. Now let's see if we can get to a 65 on the other side. 65. Nice. I feel it. I think this one's the winner. That back on. Alright, we're going to stuff her back in. So here's proof I don't know what I'm talking about. I called this side the drive side, and I was okay with that. It's not perfect, but I was okay with it. And I called this side the coast side. This is the drive side. That's perfect for the drive side. Absolutely perfect. And that's great for the coast side. So take what I tell you with a grain of salt. You guys will never guess what showed up. Oh yeah, time to play. Okay, time to press the new bearing on the pinion. What I did was, this was my setup bearing. You can see how I ground out the inside. Now I've cut the cage off. Bearings are gone, but this makes a perfect press point that won't even touch the cage. Alright, let's get it into the press. Got a little help from our bearing puller. We got this set up nice. I'm probably going to have to press it pretty close to the bottom and then thread this back a little bit so I don't run into the pinion shaft. But here we go. Moment of truth. There we go. There we go. Pinion bearing pressed on. Okay, same thing. Don't forget to lube. I didn't show you this last time, but make sure you put some lube on this. Help it along the way. I also have my shim stack here. Alright. Don't have to worry about that. Everything's there. Set this guy down. Get her wheel started. Make sure she's flat. Put my old race on there. It'll help from the bearing puller again. And just like that, we have new bearings installed. Alright, we've been sidetracked by the purchase of Keith's new TJ. It's been quite the project. We've been drinking all day, eating pizza and cookies. Thanks, Becky, you're the best. My whole project for today was to get the gears back in. I put the ram mount on. Everything looks pretty good. Cleaned it out. Cleaned out the tubes really nice. Nothing in them. New axle seals installed. Everything looks pretty good there. And And then we had to put the gears back in. Now my big concern was, after I welded this ram mount on, if the gears would fit. And after careful review and some fresh paint, we're beautiful. So let's put the cover on it and call it a day. This axle's ready to go. Just got to put the axles back in. We can start on the rear. Yay! Alright, it's all together. Axles are in. Just got to put the hubs on. It's like, it's fast.